back to this Arsenal-Liverpool game, and there was a big decision in it with Sadio Mane early on in the first half, where he came through on goal after a Roberto Firmino pass that had fallen to him from a save from Leno, and then the such touch from Mane found its way into the back of the net, but the flag from the linesman waved the goal offside when replays clearly showed that in that instance he wasn't offside because he was behind the passage of play, and therefore the goal should have stood. With this incident and with other incidents that have happened recently as well, including in the Wolves-Tottenham game, are we now looking at a situation where the Premier League needs to implement more needs to take a fresher approach towards the VAR situation, Jamie? I mean, should VAR be in the Premier League now after so many decisions which could potentially affect where the title lands come May next year? Does VAR need to be implemented?
Well, I did follow the MLS from since the early turn of the decade, but and it did make that a hell of a lot more fun when you go, Seattle have just knocked a shot in. Is it over the line or not? Mm-hmm. They run over and there's a big ooh from the crowd. And it's given or it's not.
Part of the fanfare now, isn't it?
It's part of the fanfare. Yeah, I love it. Although we're not going to bring back those early 2000s MLS penalties where it's a one-on-one with the keeper and you're allowed to sprint out.
I remember those. They were terrible. Yeah. But is VAR should it be an English game already? Considering how the Premier League is considered arguably the best league in world football, should VAR be in the Premier League already, do you think? Well,
admittedly, there's a lot of complaints that it slows down play and stuff like that. But if you want a fair game, you've got to bring it in. It's because for myself, watching Shrewsbury, I'm more used to League One, League Two games, where it's like a smack. They'll tap it around the box several times and someone will smack it. And he's like, well, I presume he was onside. That will count. But if you want to make the game more clinical, potentially it works on diving as well. So.
Certainly could pick up on those big key decisions. And Joe, yourself, you've done officiating in the past. It was a county level.
Under 19 Welsh under 19 Premier League, and then the Welsh national.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, where do you stand on this? Because with yourself being a referee, would you want to be reliant on VAR to make the correct decision for you, or would you feel as though it would put you under scrutiny, really, as to you can't make the right decision yourself, and therefore?
I'm a big fan of it. I've said in the past, we discussed it not that long ago, towards the end of last season. When we
might have been during the World Cup as well, probably as well.
I said that I'm a big fan of VAR, and it helps a lot of referees out in a lot of cases and stuff. I think it's a good idea. I think, like you said, with the fanfare thing in USA, that's quite a good point. Yeah. I noticed at the weekend, AC Milan won due to VAR. At the weekend, they had a goal disallowed wrongly. They went. Gattuso got sent to the stand in the incident, and they went to VAR, and the goal was given in the end, and Milan won 1-0. So it can help sides out. I know there's people that say about the slowness. I was at the FA Cup games last year, Liverpool, when they played West Brom, and first FA Cup game with the VAR. I actually liked it. I thought it wasn't bad. I think the one thing that they'd have to do is bring in a screen so fans can see what's going on and what the referee's seen. Because otherwise, there was a big spell, 5-10 minutes, where the referee was looking at the screen and we couldn't see what was going on. And other fans were sat around going, what's he doing? What's he doing? And I had to explain to him, the one sat next to me, don't know who they were, some randomers, that it's VAR, and explain what was going on. I had an inkling what was going to be given. It was going to be given a penalty, and it was. And well, I think if they could speed it up, make it quicker. Like in rugby, I was at the Rugby League yesterday at Anfield. Not a rugby fan, but was there. And they show it on the screen, the incident. I think if they can do that in the football, then it's going to make it a lot easier and a lot better.
Yeah, certainly would. Quickly, Luke, before we go to a music break, do you have any objections towards VAR at all?
No, not really. But in the World Cup, it's still a work in progress, VAR, at the moment. I do think my only issue with VAR, that with the referees, seeing it in slow time is a lot worse than seeing it in actual time. I think some decisions in the World Cup, VAR made it look worse than it was.
Yeah.
I think France got a penalty against Australia, went back to VAR, and it looked a lot worse than it was in real time, because in real time it wasn't a penalty. But when you looked at it in slow motion, you could see that the Australian defender got the ball before he took out Griezmann, but still given as a penalty. So it's still a work in progress. I think if it's not introduced next season, it'll probably be introduced the season after that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Right.